to me, say, I'd like you to do social media management for me. I'm like, okay, cool. But I had to decline because part of their campaign was me sharing news. Can't do that, right?
Yeah, this is not a corporation putting on authority.
Police, you're under arrest because you shared this on X.
In the digital age, the line between content creation and political action is blurring. For over a decade, my guest, Miriam Rachel Ber, has been on the front lines of digital communication, helping entrepreneurs and creators find their voice online through her company, Gemini Rising Limited. But what happens when the very platforms that empower those voices are threatened by government overreach? Miriam didn't just watch from the sidelines. She stepped into the political arena. From a grassroots volunteer to a conservative delegate, she has emerged as a powerful advocate for digital rights, launching an official House of Commons petition to repeal the controversial bills C-11 and C-18. Sponsored by the conservative deputy leader, Melissa Lantsman, this petition has become a rallying cry for those who believe these laws are stifling innovation, harm small businesses, and limit the very freedoms they claim to protect. Today we're going to deep into this expertise into a political mission. We will unpack the real-world impacts of Bill C-11 and C-18, explore why hundreds of Canadian creators are fighting back, and discuss how one person's determination can challenge the highest levels of government. Miriam, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Cody. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I just want to get into a little bit of your background. Can you tell the audience why you started here? Like, what's your background?
Okay, so here's the thing. I've been running Gemini Rising Limited for a very long time. So I basically offer social media management services, writing services, consulting, but I no longer do that. So here's the situation. I mean, I was honestly very concerned how we as Canadians have been softly censored, um, online for several years now. But at the same time, I don't want to jump around too much, but at the same time, I felt like it was become more politically active. So I helped Melissa Lantsman's writing. I live in her writing. I helped during the election campaign. I've been volunteering at her office. And I'm also a delegate heading to Calgary at the end of January, and I'm pretty stoked about that. So just both of those things going on. And the thing that really got me going with this was I had two Americans come to me, say, I'd like you to do social media management for me. I'm like, okay, cool. But I had to decline because part of their campaign was me sharing news. Can't do that. Right?
Yep.
Right? So it's like, okay, this has to stop. This is ridiculous. Now, the thing about these two bills, C-11 and C-18, were not intended to be censorship bills, okay? C-11 became a thing the intent was to help creators get discovered, right? It was an updated bill of the Broadcasting Act from the 90s. Yeah. However, what ended up happening? Well, the government allowed the CRTC to basically pick and choose which content would be discoverable. So C-11 became a censorship bill when it came to visibility. Now, with C-18, it was modeled after the News Broadcasting Code in Australia in 2021. So the News Broadcasting Code in Australia did end up working, okay, because the point was to compensate news outlets to share to force platforms to share links. So in Australia's case, it worked for them because they were able to come up with a compromise and all that, but it backfired here. Now, Google is paying for links begrudgingly, but Meta just walked away. So not only Canadians cannot share links, news links through Facebook or Instagram, whatever, but they can't access any news from anywhere. And this has been a huge problem because you know what? Facebook and Google both are news aggregators. So that's why both of those platforms were targeted, not X or LinkedIn or anything else, because everything is too small, right? But this became a huge problem because very, very important updates were basically missed, such as wildfires, evacuations, Amber Alerts, you name it. So they basically, word of mouth was basically how news got around. Really, really, yeah.
I can attest to that. The one thing I want to point out is as of May 2023, which is I think when Bill C-18 actually like came into,
June.
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
there was entire misinformation campaigns all across Pierre linking him to Trump as news
Yes.
articles. Yeah,
Yep.
and you just have to look back. It's all there, all receipts. Like
Yep.
that was a big thing, and I'm like, I just point out to people, I'm like, that would have changed how the election ran if people were able to stand up and say, "Hey, this news isn't real. Here's a news source that's actually real."
Yeah.
It really affected things.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there were other factors as well why the election turned out the way it did, like the NDP collapsing.
Yeah.
Um, However, yeah, it's a real problem because it's embarrassing to know that we're the only country in the world where Facebook is pretty much you can't access news. I mean, there are other countries where there's maybe soft bans, I believe, but here it's completely banned.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: a lot of people aren't using Facebook as much, but there's still enough using it to look to see what's going on, the latest news. So,
Funny you mentioned that. So I live
yeah.
in a small town called Lewisport in Newfoundland,
Mhm.
and all older people, all like very senior, they only use Facebook.
Mhm.
They only use Facebook. They're just starting to get onto Instagram, and I'm like, well, that's great, but you still can't share news. You can't learn things. You be like, hey, these news articles are not true. Um,
Yeah, it sure is. It absolutely is. And so I just want to also mention the impacts of C-18. Yeah, it became a censorship bill because of the fact that you can't access news online. You can't access things. And it did end up backfiring. It hurt journalists. It hurt, it just, they lost so much traffic overnight. Like this news blackout's ridiculous. And why is the government keeping it? They're embarrassed to admit it failed. That's why. So, yeah.
something I want to point out. Like these things can just be written off and said, "Hey, we
Hmm.
we we did this. It didn't work. Let's continue. Let's just take it out." And
Yeah.
yet they still have it. And if I'm not mistaken, did they not also have statistics that say like officially that it doesn't work?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But they're still defending it. They're still defending it. I know that recently, I believe it was Moose on the Loose basically put something out there about how they're still defending it. Oh, yeah, it's working. No, it's not. It's not. It's a terrible bill and it needs to go. So that's the thing. So that's why I've got this petition going. It is not a change.org petition because I think something like that was already done. It does nothing. That's why I wouldn't even bother with that. This is a House of Commons petition sponsored by Melissa Lantsman. She's got a lot of clout. She's got a lot of, she's very influential, right? So the thing is, I launched the petition November the 25th. I've got over 250 signatures already. I need 500 in order for this to be tabled. I have no doubt it'll reach that, and I'm going to be bringing this to the convention as well. I've got other plans as to how to get this going too, because if we get a lot of signatures, it will be tabled, and the government will be forced to respond within 45 days.
You hear that, guys? You gotta blast this out here. I do have a wide audience, mostly American, so it might end up worldwide. Um, the one thing I want to press on this, because
Mm-hmm.
I have to fight this a lot. When we're talking censorship, Microsoft or not Microsoft, Meta decided not to pay. So how is this not a corporation putting on authority
Mm-hmm.
over government censorship?
Yeah, that is a very good question. But you know what the thing is that Meta just didn't want to pay. They just walked away. So why would they want to pay for something that seemed absolutely ridiculous to them. And they also didn't pay because there's no flexibility within the bill.
Yeah.
Unlike the news broadcasting code in Australia, they were able to make compromises, right? But not in this case. It was absolutely ridiculous. So they just walked away. But Google threatened to remove news as well, but they did come up with a compromise. And I don't think you're able to get a lot of news on Google, just the big ones. That's it, right?
Yeah. So none of the small
Yeah.
voices really get out of that echo chamber.
No.
The
No.
other thing I do like is X, their community notes now,
Mhm.
to be able to
Yeah.
like source out and say, hey, like this isn't true. Like make sure you read these documents as well.
Yes.
Those really work. I hope we can have some sort of compromise with Meta over that at some point.
Well, I honestly, my intuition is that the only time these bills will be repealed is if we get a conservative majority in. And we got to work so hard to convince the swing voters to wake up once and for all, because they all fell for elbows up, right? And that's what happened. So the Liberals basically threw a Hail Mary. Oh, get rid of Justin Trudeau. He's hated. Oh, we're going to bring in Mark Carney. He's a fresh face. He's an economist. He wants to bring the Liberal Party back to the center, like how it was. So many people fell for that, in addition to the NDP collapsing. Okay. That's what happened. That's why the Conservatives ended up losing big time. And let's face it, they needed a new campaign manager. And let's hope that this new campaign manager is able to pull off what needs to be pulled off for next time. So
the one message that I got from the Conservative Party that I was very proud of is they just took the hate and kept on bringing the hope. That really sat with me. That's something I've been thinking of since I started voting, is like, I hate the smear campaigns. Like, I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's not doing that. I don't care. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely.
And I know I echo my entire generation when I say that. I don't want to hate anymore. I just want something to start making the solutions, start ripping away the layers of falsehood and bureaucracy. Like, I worked for the Ontario government for almost a decade, and I could tell you there's like 5 layers of bureaucracy above me who don't listen to anything the experts have to say on anything. And it's like, this is why our processes are slow. This is why our processes don't work. You have to play a game of telephone.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense for sure. Yeah. And I also want to mention something else, is that you got to give the Conservatives credit for basically being able to laugh at themselves, right? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Carney can't laugh at himself. He can't laugh at himself, right? Yeah. I don't know if you saw the press gallery dinner from recently, that Don Davies was actually hilarious. He was absolutely hilarious about that. And he even made fun of the Conservatives. Oh, well, they're shrinking, but Pierre was laughing at that. But when he said something about, oh, well, the U.S. is screwing us, Carney he was mad.
Yeah.
You can tell he was angry. Yeah. So, anyway, I don't want to digress too much here. So
very fair.
Yeah.
How has these bills affected our relationship with the U.S.?
Oh, absolutely terrible, because they're frustrated as well. They absolutely are, because I remember talking to Melissa Lanceman about that months ago, and she said that this is extremely frustrating for them. Very, very frustrating for them. And, we were maybe hoping there would be a time when maybe Trump would put a lot of pressure on Carney to remove it, but that hasn't happened. And I'm not sure if it will, because it's impacting them. It's impacting them big time. It's
a lot of misinformation on our side. That's really I think the reason one of my biggest audiences is the US is because I'm just pointing out, like, hey, we're the bad guys here, guys. Like, we're doing the wrong. We've taken advantage of our relationship for too long. And our government just wants to keep that silent and say, hey, it's their fault. And I'm like, again, let's bring our politics to modern day. Let's talk about what's happening right this second and not give a shit about what has happened over the last 100 years. I don't care. We understand the knowledge, we take from it, we learn from it, we do something better. But
Yeah.
we just seem to have gotten to we understand the lesson, but we're not doing better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. No, no, it's just extremely frustrating, extremely frustrated, not just for this reason, but there's just so many other reasons. There's no point even listing them. So, yeah.
I want to take this to an international stage at the moment. Do you know what's going on in the UK?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness, am I ever aware? Yes.
That's
Yes.
the other conversation I want to have here is
Yes.
how is Canada starting to compare to
Yep.
what's going on there where people are getting thrown in jail for ex posts and liking things as well?
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy, this is also why C-11 and C-18 have basically set something very dangerous too, right? Because not enough people were fighting back. Because the thing is, even though those two bills were not intended to be censorship bills, it just ended up becoming that way, soft censorship, right? But not enough people were fighting back. They were just taking it and taking it. So this gave the government more power
Mm-hmm.
to start talking about digital ID, the Online Harms Act, C-63, which is dead now, but then you got the C-9, which is basically its reincarnation. And yeah, they're disguising it as, oh, harm, like hate speech, which is absolutely ridiculous. We already have laws implemented for that,
The
right?
new one, the new one out of the UN is digital violence.
Yeah. The C9 is in committee, and I think it's going to be staying there for a very long time. Now, we do have freedom of expressions in the Constitution. No matter what the Liberals want, they cannot override that. I don't believe that England has something like that,
Yeah.
like the UK. I don't believe they do. So that's why they were able to get away with it. Over here, it is a lot more difficult, but it's scary, really frightening. And we need enough people fighting back. So this way, if Bill C-11 and C-18 are repealed, it'll send a message to the Liberals saying, no more. Stay away from our stuff. Stay away from our internet. Yeah.
That's what I want to press on here. The internet was always supposed to be the place of free expression.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was when it was the best, when people were just throwing their ideas out to the world and saying, "I don't care. This is my thought," and we weren't
Yeah.
we weren't harping on them. We were just saying, "Hey, like let's refine those thoughts together."
Hmm.
But we've taken away that medium. How how does that medium taking away that medium cause actual real world harm?
Yeah, because the thing is, you're not going to be able to be free to express what you want to express without any kind of malice or anything. You're going to be spied on. You're not going to know if you shared something on social media that is against the law. And the next thing you know, what? Oh, going to get a police? You're under arrest because you shared this on X, right?
Yeah.
So this is a thing. And I honestly don't think it's going to pass, not in its current form. Like I said, it's in committee. It's going to be staying in committee for a very long time, and it may never get out of committee.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's
yeah.
still something everybody should be aware of, and I'm gonna
Oh, yes.
promote the petition again. Please, guys, go and sign if you're Canadian, or
Yeah.
share it with a
Yeah.
Canadian that you know. Uh,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What can we expect if these bills get released? What do you
Okay.
think can happen?
Well, first of all, you're going to see news on Facebook again. That's for one. But no, on a deeper level, people will start to get access to the information they need on Google and Facebook. That's the C-18 being gone because it's a failed bill. I mean, it's a failed bill. So there's no point even fixing it. I didn't even um, ask the government to fix it. Just get rid of it. It's a failed model. And also, for C-11, we're going to be able to start seeing content that deserves to be promoted, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Canadian or not. So that's going to allow us better visibility. That's going to be allowing us better access to information. So that it will become basically a restoration of freedom of expression that we deserve, right? Because it's chilling it big time. These bills are chilling it.
You're just reminding me that I have to go back. So I've now become a bard, essentially, is what I call myself. I curate music. through storytelling and like
Hmm.
trying to get messages across. So I
Yep.
have to go back on C-11 and C-18 already. I got to go back and
Oh.
create a new one. But this morning I did one about just you can't. The problem with censorship, because I want to point this out, the problem with censorship is innovation dies. People don't get to question and understand without repercussions. You don't get to form your own opinions.
Yep.
It's a fact of thought crime. And I'm sorry, you're going to have to hear the bad words or see the bad symbols, but
Yep.
that's the price of your freedom.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, look at North Korea.
Yeah.
This is on track to becoming that, right? Like I said, we do have, we got freedom of expression in the Constitution, so that is going to ultimately keep us safe. But at the same time, this has to be spread just so people are aware of what the government wants to do. They want full control. This isn't even liberalism. This is, you know, in Australia, the Conservative Party there is called the Liberal Party,
Yeah.
which is very confusing, right? It's supposed to be, yeah,
I think
yeah,
the weird part for most Canadians, and I think the thing that they don't really understand is Canadian government and American government are completely separate entities. They have completely different
yeah,
structures, and we can't
yeah.
we can't actually have a Trump. It's physically
No.
impossible for our parliament to have a Trump style authoritarian regime.
Mm,
However, that's what we're doing by keeping this party afloat.
yeah,
We're
absolutely.
just
No,
doing it
that's
in a
right.
different way.
Yeah, and those that are saying that Pierre is like Trump, actually met Pierre
Yeah.
twice. Very, very lovely, personal, warm man. He really is. Okay, but those who want to form an opinion about him just aren't going to believe that, and
In
are going to
this
say, "Oh, you're lying," right? So,
in this digital age, you really just need to be the person who asks themselves, and
yeah,
that's one of the reasons I started this podcast is because I want to get to the truth. I want to understand the
yeah,
person because that's what we lose when we censor things is the context, the human, the understanding, their interpretation of the words we use.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, absolutely. Like for instance, now you can't use like saying committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
You say unalive, right? Like that's ridiculous. That's absolutely you can't even you can't even say eating disorders, like the actual eating disorders, without being censored. Now this is what it's turned into, and it's everywhere. It's not just here; it's everywhere,
I
and it's
feel
absolutely ridiculous.
I feel bad, and I'm probably going to get this clipped and taken out of context because I was
Oh
talking
no!
I was talking about that Pierce Morgan interview where that lady sent a text just angrily after being molested, raped, whatever YouTube wants to keep in this algorithm. She was just angry, and then she had more repercussions for saying that word than they got for doing the act. And it's just that line that I want people to understand is we're no longer drawing that line.
No, and see what this is turning into, right? Like this is the thing. We deserve to be free to we deserve to be free to for what we share.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely deserve to be free. Now, I mean, of course there needs to be safeguards in place. Like if there's actual true hate threats, true hate or threats, then yeah, that's different. But saying words that they don't like, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So I don't really have any other questions. I just want to leave the last 5 minutes for you to
Sure.
plug whatever you need. Tell somebody, tell our audience what can they do? How can they help?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, firstly, you need to be aware of how bad these bills are, how they really do chill our freedom of expression and free speech. And we can make a difference. First, sign the petition E6994. That's the one through the House of Commons. Sign that. Encourage anyone who you know that's Canadian to sign it as well, because we need at least 500 signatures for it to be tabled. And the government has to respond within 45 days. But I'm my vision is that it's going to go beyond that.
Yeah.
But it has to be circulated properly. It has to reach a wide audience for that to happen.
You
Okay.
just gave me a thought. I'm gonna forward to Rachel Gilmore. As bad as she is on the other side, I'm gonna forward it to her because she's on this side as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Yeah. And I just want to mention that this is not a partisan thing, okay? All Canadians deserve to be, they deserve freedom of expression. All Canadians. It has nothing to do with being on the right or the left or the center. This is for all Canadians. This is so nonpartisan. So please sign the petition. It doesn't matter if a Conservative MP was the one who sponsored it. Okay, please just sign it, because we got to send a message to the government that this is just not acceptable. These bills have to go. And I don't expect them to do anything, but I'm hoping that enough people will be aware of what they're doing that it'll help make them realize that they got to make the right choice when it comes time for the next election.
Thank you for the words, and I just hope it resonates with the audience out there. To everybody, thank you for staying and listening to the message. Stay weird.
Thank you.